the benefits you can get from the ISO standards by using ISO standards. Okay, good. Okay, now what is ISO? This is actually the abbreviation for International Organization for Standardization, right? And this is an independent non-government international organization, and it has membership of almost 164 national standard bodies which are working on the development and establishment of theories and details and committees regarding the standards, right? Okay, so through its members it brings together experts to share knowledge and develop voluntarily conscious based market relevant international standards that support innovation and provide solutions to the global challenges. Now the global challenges can be of many types. I mean, it can be regarding the health, it can be regarding environment, it can be regarding the energy issues, can be regarding anything. It covers a lot about the things happening around us. Now the key principles in ISO standard development. Actually, when we talk about the principles behind the ISO standards, ISO itself defines its principle of working is as identifying, understanding, and managing interrelated processes as a system contributes to the organizational effectiveness and efficiency in achieving its objectives, right? So ISO standards, while development of these standards, many of the things are important which are considered in the process. A few of them are discussed here. The first one is the response to a need in the market, right? So what is the need? What that means, you are identifying, you are understanding the situation, you are identifying that this is the thing which is important, and this is important to work on this thing, right? So you are identifying the thing, you are identifying your market, and then you are responding to that particular need in the market, right? So ISO does not decide when to develop a new standard, right? But response to a request from the industry or any other market or society or any other stakeholder, such as the consumers, for example. Typically, an industry sector or a group communicates the need for a standard to its national member, who can then contact to the ISO, and then ISO starts working on that particular need of the market or need of the society. Okay. The second principle of the ISO standards is based on the global experts' opinion. Now, ISO standards are developed by the groups of experts, and these experts are actually selected and taken from all over the world, right? Not from just one area or two area, that not from only from US or not only from Europe, but from all over the world, right? And that are the part of larger groups called the technical committees, the technical committees of the ISO. ठीक हो गया? Now, these experts negotiate all aspects of the standards, including its scope, key definitions, and contents, with the other experts, and then with the customers and consumers, and with the group which is asking to work on that particular principle standard. ठीक हो गया? So that means that the second point which is important is that the standards are developed by the group of experts, and those experts are taken from all over the world, all parts of the world, and then these are decided that how they can be worked on and how they will be proceeded. Now, the next thing is that how the standards are developed. They are actually developed through a multi-stakeholder process, right? many of the stakeholders are involved in the process. Maybe the manufacturers, maybe the service providers, maybe industries, uh, the team working in the industry, the person who can be called as the user or the client or the customer. So there are many stakeholders, and they are usually all involved in the process of the development of the standard, right? The technical committees are made up of the experts from the relevant industry. I mean, when I'm saying relevant industry, I'm not talking about the industry which is producing something. I'm talking about the industry which can be regarding the IT industry, maybe textile industry, maybe any other energy relevant industries. So from the relevant industry, but also from the consumer associations, academia, NGOs, and the government. So this is an area which can be studied more if you want to study this. There are more details present on the website, which is operated by ISO itself. Okay, based on our consensus. Actually, developing ISO standards is a consensus-based approach, and comments from all stakeholders are taken into account. Actually, when we are saying standards, ISO standards development, the standards are the sort of agreements, right, which are developed within an open process that gives all stakeholders, including the customers, the consumers, the opportunity to express their views, their ideas, their experiences, and have those views um, uh, जो भी उनके हैं, these are actually considered while development of all these standard and their processes, right? So their views actually contributes to their fairness and market relevance, and promotes the confidence in their use, right? So we should be keeping in mind that the International Organization for Standardization, that ISO, is a global network, as we have discussed earlier, and it identifies what international standards are required by the community, by the society, by the business, by the government, by any other consumer, right? And actually, ISO develops the standards in partnership with the sectors that will put them to use. This is very important, that ISO always considered the sectors, all the sectors that are going to use that standard, and adopts them by transparent procedures based on the national input, and delivers them. And that makes the standard more valuable for the consumers and the customers, right? Okay. Okay, now the next point which is important with the reference to the ISO standards is that it is actually internationally agreed upon by the experts from all over the world, right? So ISO standards are internationally agreed upon by the experts. It could be about making a product, managing a process, delivering a service, or supplying the materials. It can be anything. So standards cover a huge range of activities. Standards are the distilled wisdom of people with expertise in their subject matter, and who know the needs of the organization they represent, or the needs of the organization they are delivering to. So the people such as manufacturers, sellers, buyers, customers, trade associations, users, or regulators, uh, they are all catered while uh, while developing the standards. Examples of ISO standards. Quality management standards to help work more effectively, more efficiently, and reduce the product failures. Right? So, quality management standards are there to help more effectively. And then the energy management standards, these are there to help cut the energy consumption down, right? Environmental management standards, these are to help reducing the environmental impacts, the bad environmental impacts on the human beings and on the earth, reduce waste and be more sustainable. These are very important targets on which the environmental management standards are working on, right? Food safety standards. These are to help prevent food from being contaminated. This is again very important, especially in the case of developing countries. The developing countries are facing this problem at a very large scale, that the human beings and the living beings consuming food in the developing countries, the food is contaminated. So the food safety standards are working on this particular area to make the food safe from being contaminated. IT security standards, these are to help keep sensitive information secure, right? Um Health and safety standards. Health and safety standards are the standards which help us to reduce accidents in the workplace, especially focused on the um, workplaces, in the industries, in the offices, in different areas of the life. But this particular type of standards, these are meant to reduce the accidents and the mishaps in the work areas, workplaces. So, going into a bit more detail of the quality management standard, for organizations asking how to improve the quality of their products and services. So, the ISO standard for quality management is actually focusing all those organizations, and definitely it consistently meet the customer's expectation. I mean, when an organization or a firm or a factory or any workplace is following the rules given by the quality management standard, then in that case, that that organization is consistently meeting the customer's expectation. This is an ideal case, right? So ISO has an answer to this quality management uh, issue, addressing various aspects of quality management and containing some of the ISO's best known standards. There are the ISO 9000 family. ISO 9000 family is all about the quality management standards. We have 9000, ISO 9001, and etc. etc. These all are connected and concerned with the quality management in the organizations of maybe bigger level or small level. But if the organization is following these standards, yes, they are always hopefully meeting the customers' requirements and expectations and fulfilling the quality. So, as I already told you in the previous slide, that the quality management standards are the standards which are known as ISO 9000 family, and particularly right now I am going to discuss ISO 9001 because this is one of the very famous standards, which is followed by many management systems, right? So ISO 9001 sets out the criteria for a quality management system and is the only standard in the family that can be certified too. Although this is not a requirement KE is certified of, but still it can be certified, right? If somebody is asking for a certificate, yes, the certificate can be given. It can be used by any organization. The organization may be a large one or a small one, right? Regardless of its field of activity. It can be any organization working in any area of the life. In fact, there are over 1 million companies and organizations in over 170 countries certified to ISO 9001. Big number, you know. This standard is based on a number of quality management principles, including a strong customer focus, the motivation and the implication of top management, the process approach, and continual improvement. This is very important factor, continual improvement. You have to keep this in your mind. These principles are explained in more detail. If you want to go into more detail, yes, this is explained in more detail in ISO quality management principles. You can go to ISO website and you can study these if you want more details about it, if you need more information. Using ISO 9001 helps ensuring that the customers get consistent, good quality products and services, which in turn brings many business benefits. The next one is energy management standards. This ISO standard provides a practical way to improve the energy use through the development of an energy management system, ENMS. If you remember that many of the developing countries are facing the energy crisis, including Pakistan. You know, in Pakistan we have energy crisis, and by using the energy management standard, what we can get is that we can know how to save the energy, how to manage the energy use smartly and effectively, so that the energy can be avoided to be wasted, right? So the new ISO 50001 standard for the energy management system can help safeguard our future by making a positive difference in the here and now. That means if you are following the ISO 50001 standard, this is a perfect system of energy management, and yes, this can help in saving the energy for our future, and this can make a positive difference. Whenever you will start using this standard, it will start giving you benefit, positive difference right away after the start of use of this standard, right? Now this makes it easier for the organization to integrate energy management into their overall efforts to improve quality and environmental management. Definitely, if you are using energy smartly and you are managing the quantity of the energy with respect to your requirements, definitely it helps you in cutting down the costs fasting, and secondly, by managing energy, you can avoid any kind of emergency situation, which you have seen that many times we have to face when there is an electricity failure and we are just sitting and waiting for that, how to do the work now, how to do directions now, how to do any process now. So yeah, this standard is a good answer to it. ISO 50001 provides a framework of requirements for organization to develop a policy for more efficient use of energy. First thing. Second thing is fixed targets and objectives to meet the policy, right? The third thing is use data to better understand and make decisions about the energy use, right? So measure the results, review how well the policy works, and continually improving the energy management. So this ISO standard, this is definitely providing you requirement and the answer to the requirements, and the requirements are we have discussed right now. These all are very important requirements, because any of this requirement, if not fulfilled, if not satisfied, in that case we can face problems in the process, right? Environmental management standards for companies and organizations of any type that require practical tool to manage their environmental responsibilities. There are the ISO 14000 family. Environmental responsibilities. This is a big name, big responsibility, big thing. In Pakistan, many of the big organizations and many of the big companies, industries, they don't follow the rules and they don't fulfill the environmental responsibilities, and as a result, you have seen that many of the big cities of Pakistan like Lahore, Karachi, Multan, Faisalabad, Sialkot, they are a sucker. They are one of the they are at the top of the list of the uh, cities in the world which have dirty environment and big high level of pollution. So yes, environmental responsibility, we also have to fulfill this environmental responsibility, which is a compulsory requirement by the earth, by the nature, right? So ISO 14001 sets out the criteria for an environmental management system, right? So they're giving you a criteria and can be certified too. This is once again a standard which can be certified. Okay, it maps out a framework that a company or organization can follow, right? So first thing is that ISO 14000 sets out the criteria which you can follow, and the second thing is that it can be certified as well. Then the third thing is it is mapping out a framework that a company or organization can follow to set up an effective environmental management system. Okay, designed for any type of organization, regardless of its activity or sector. It can provide assurance. Assurance to what? Assurance to the company management and employees as well, and as well the external stakeholders, that the environmental impact is being measured and hopefully improved. Okay. Actually, when we are talking about the food safety standards, the basic aim of ISO about the food is that they want to produce zero defect food products for the society, for the human beings, and for the community. And definitely, uh, whatever the size or the volume of the product is, all food producers have a responsibility to manage the safety of their products and the well-being of their consumers and the society and the human beings, right? The consequences of unsafe, unhealthy food can be serious, can be causing illness, diseases, even the deaths. So ISO food safety management standards help organizations to identify and control the food safety hazards, and at the same time, uh, as working together with other ISO management standards such as ISO 9001. The ISO standards are aiming to produce good quality food, and not only the production of good quality food, but uh, uh, the the transfer of food or carriage of food from one particular production area to the society, वो भी important है कि उसको भी इस तरह से किया जा सके कि वो उस दौरान फूड ख़राब ना हो, ठीक है. So applicable to all kinds of producer, ISO 22000 provides a layer of reassurance within the global food supply chain, helping products cross borders and bringing people food that they can trust the consumers, right? Okay, that's why ISO 22000 exists, कि ये आप हेल्प करता है फूड क्वालिटी को मेंटेन करने के लिए, फूड क्वालिटी को इंश्योर करने के लिए, और फूड क्वालिटी एक जगह से दूसरी जगह फूड को पहुंचाने के दौरान भी उसकी क्वालिटी को मेंटेन किया जा सके, उसकी क्वालिटी को ख़राब होने से रोका जा सके. Right, so ISO 22000 is a globally accepted international standard which specifies the requirement for the food safety management system. This was actually established in 2005. ISO 22000 is applicable to all organizations which are involved in the food chain, and the main objective is to ensure the food safety. The standard outlines a framework which harmonize all the parts of the food supply chain from the producer to the consumer and helps you reduce food hazards, control the risks, and prevent the contamination in the food. Okay. IT security standards. When it comes to keeping information assets secure, organization can rely on the ISO IEC 27000 family. This is a complete family of the standards, right? ISO IEC 27001 is widely known, providing the requirements for an information security management system, ISMS. Though there are more than a dozen of standards in the ISO IEC 27000 family, मतलब एक या दो या तीन नहीं है, dozens, more than dozen of a number of standards, right? Using them enable organizations of any kind to manage the security of the assets such as financial information, which is present as the IT information, intellectual property, employee details. This is very personal data of the people, of the human beings, so this should be secured as well, or information entrusted by the third parties. Okay, when it comes keeping information assets secure, organization can rely on the ISO IEC 27000 family because it helps, right? Okay, ISO IEC 27001 is widely known, providing all these areas and all these things nicely and safely. Next is health and safety standards. This is very important standard. You will be very interested in knowing about this. For organizations that are serious about improving the employee safety, reducing workplace risks, accidents, and creating better safe working conditions, all those organizations are very interested in the ISO standards for the health and safety, right? So according to the International Labour Organization, more than 7,600 people die from work-related accidents or diseases every single day, right? So that's why an ISO committee of occupational health and safety experts set to work to develop an international standard with the potential to save almost 3 million lives each year. So if you calculate 7,600 deaths a single day and convert the value into a year, that is almost more than 3 million. So the ISO standard is actually working on this area and trying to avoid these deaths which are taking place on the workplace, at the workplace, or due to the workplace. Structured in a similar way to other ISO management systems, the approach will be familiar to user of the standards such as ISO 14001 or ISO 9001, right? So ISO 45001 builds on the success of earlier international standards in this area, and these are the health safety standards. These are the ISO 45001. Just naming some of the other popular standards given by the ISO. The one is ISO 8601 date and time format. ISO 8601 is the internationally accepted way to represent the dates and times. The other one is ISO 13485. This is all about the medical devices. So managing the quality throughout the life cycle of a medical device, that is possible with the help of ISO 13485. Okay, ji. Risk management, ISO 31000 risk about the risk management. ISO 31000 is actually a risk management standard relevant with the risk management, and it actually describes a systematic and logical process during which organizations manage the risks by identifying them, analyzing them, and then evaluating them. Whatever the risk should be modified by the risk treatment in order to satisfy their risk criteria. That means they identify, they pinpoint that this can be a risk, they identify it, they analyze it, and then they evaluate that how can we modify the situation, how can we modify the area, how can we modify the scenario, and we can decrease the risk of margin of the risk over there at the workplace, right? So ISO 31000 actually defines risk as the effect of uncertainty on the business objectives and on the human health, right? So this effect can be this can be positive, this can be negative, right? So the 5 components of the ISO 31000 risk management framework are the mandate, plan, implementation, checks, and improvements. And the process of the risk management includes communication and consultation, context about the risk, risk assessment, treatment of the risk, and monitoring के दोबारा से नहीं हो, ठीक है? तो this is all about the risk management standard के क्या है ये, and how it works, and how it tries to manage to decrease the risks in the workplace, at the workplace. Now ISO 17025. This is actually testing and calibrating the laboratories, standard about testing and calibration of the laboratories, right? So this is an international standard, ISO standard for testing and calibrating the laboratories. It is a set of requirements that those laboratories use who want to show that they operate a quality management system and that they are technically competent to do the work that they are doing, right? And this is actually technically competent with reference to the with reference to many points like the management requirements, the technical requirements, etc, right? And if we say that where is the difference between ISO 9001 and ISO 17025, ISO 9001 applies to all kind of businesses in all industries and sectors, right? While on the other hand, ISO 17025 is the only valuable standard for testing and calibrating the laboratories. Yani, this is particularly dealing with the laboratories, right? So when it comes to similarities, we can say that there are some points which are common in ISO 9001 and 17025, and these are actually with reference to the management system requirements. That is the clause number 8, clause number 8 of the two, right? But the main difference is that the ISO is a more broader term, and ISO 9001 is a more broader standard and term, while ISO 17025 is only about the laboratories, right? And if we say that who needs the ISO 17025, this is actually all about we said about the laboratories. So we can say that there are many common points with the ISO 9001 standards, but ISO 17025 is more specific in requirement for the competence and applies directly to those organizations that produces and deals with the testing of different things and calibrating the results, and is based upon more technical principles which are producing more benefits for the laboratories. Okay, what are the benefits using ISO standards? ISO was founded with the idea of answering a fundamental question: what is the best way of doing this? Whatsoever you are doing, what is the best way of doing this? So ISO answers this, right? It started with the obvious things like weights and measures, and over the last 50 years has developed into a family of standards that cover everything from the shoes we stand in to the Wi-Fi networks that connects us invisibly to each other, right? So ISO standards covering almost each and everything which is important for us, for our lives. Addressing all these and more, international standards mean that consumer can have confidence. This is very important. If your consumer has confidence on you, that their products are safe, the products they are using are safe, reliable, and of good quality. ISO standards on road safety, toy safety, and even secure medical packaging are just a few of those standards that help make the world a safer place. Okay, regulators and government count on ISO standards to help develop better regulations, knowing they have a sound basis, and this helps uh, in the improvement, in the betterment of human beings, and this is by the involvement of the globally established experts. To find out more about how ISO 23147 standards touch almost all aspects of daily life and work for business large and small, you can see, or we can see, the standards in action of ISO. With international standards on air, water, soil quality, on emission of the gases from the cars, from the factories, and radiations and the environmental aspects of the products, the ISO standards protect the health of the planet and the people beyond bringing economic benefits. Good. ISO standards help business of any size and sector reduce cost, increase productivity, and assess the new markets, which every businessman is dreaming for. Consistent, transparent, targeted. ISO standards provide a strong basis for the development of national and international regulation, helping save time. Time is money, helping save time and reduce barriers to international trade. ISO spread the benefits of ISO standards as broadly as possible by improving and involving consumers in the standards development work through the committees on the consumer policy by the consent of the consumers, which actually makes the consumers happy. Now, there is an important question which can come in your minds, that can we get involved in the developing of the standards, ISO standards? The answer is Almost yes, not completely yes, but yes, almost yes. Actually, ISO standards are created by the people who use them. I mean, who use the standards, right? So whether you are a consumer or you are in a business, you can be part of the next generation of the standards. This is possible. Okay. Now, taking part can give you early access to the industry information, and it can give your company a voice in the development of the standards and help to keep market access open for you. That means if you are involved in the ISO standards, that would be better for you, for your company, and for the betterment of the business of the company, right? So it would be good if you are involved in the ISO standards. So we were discussing that if we are the part of developing of the standards, how this is possible, and what can be the root of this, and what can be the benefits of this, right? So going again to our basic point, we have to keep this in our minds, that one of the strengths of ISO standards is that they are created by the people that need them. I mean, the people who need the standards, they are actually more ISO is more interested in uh, catering all those people and then developing the standards, right? So industry experts derive all aspects of the standard development process, from deciding whether a new standard is required, is needed, to defining all the technical contents, right from the start almost to the end. The experts, the industry experts of that area, they are involved in the process. Okay, so getting involved in this process can bring significant advantages to your business. For example, by giving early access to the information. Now if you are involved, definitely you are going to get the information earlier than the market, right? So giving earlier access to the information that could shape the market in the future, and you are getting the information in right start of the uh, process, right? So giving your company a voice in the development of the standards, helping to keep market access open. Getting involved in the standard development, bring your concerns and needs to bear on a process that will affect you in the future, right? So if you are involved in the standard development, definitely you can raise your voice, you can tell the committee, the technical committee, what are your concerns, what are your needs, what your customer is demanding from you. So all these things are important for you, so you can tell the committee that these are the points which are important for us, and these should be catered while development of the standards. So this will give you a golden opportunity to solve even your own issues as a company, as an organization. Now, the members are the foremost part of the standards organization in their countries, right? And there is only one member per country. That means you cannot have more than one members, two, three, four, five. No, just one member in one country, right? So each member represents ISO in its country. Individuals or companies cannot become ISO members. No. If you think that any individual can become the part of ISO, or any company can become the part of ISO, no. There are always the national bodies which are recommended by the governments, and they become the member of the ISO, and then they have the authority to do the process regarding the ISO standards in the country, right? So individuals and companies cannot become ISO members, but yes, there are ways that individuals and companies can take part in the standardization work. For example, the first thing is, if you want to get the information about that, who's the member of ISO from Pakistan, there is a complete list of the members given in the information site of the ISO at their website. You can go and you can check it out, that who's the member of ISO from America, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, etc., right? You can get each and every detail from there. We have three categories for the members in the ISO. Each enjoy a different level of access and influence over the ISO system. Okay, now actually, when you are saying that the national bodies member of ISO, actually this helps the whole community to be inclusive while also recognizing the different needs and capacities of each national standard body. Okay, three categories, right? We said that the first category is full member. Now, what do you mean by full member? Full members are actually the members which can influence the ISO standard development and strategy process by participating and voting in the ISO technical and policy meetings, right? The full members are sitting over there in the meetings, in the technical meetings, in the policy making meetings, and they can vote and they can suggest, they can participate in the whole process. Full members can sell and adopt the ISO standards and in their country, right, nationally. The second category is the correspondent members, and the correspondent members observe the development of ISO standards and strategies, right? They can observe, that means they are there in the meeting and they can observe the process by attending the ISO technical and the policy meeting as observer, right? But they cannot vote, they cannot take part as a voter or as a suggester in the meeting. Corresponding members, but yes, they have the authority, they can sell and adopt the ISO standards over there in their country, right? The last category is the subscriber member, and these are actually up to date on the ISO work, but they cannot participate in the meetings. They are not there in the meeting, but yes, after the meeting they will be informed immediately about all the process of the meeting, right? Okay. But yes, one thing more, they cannot sell or adopt the ISO international standards nationally, but they have the information about the upgrades and the changes in the ISO standards and the processes. Okay, Ji. In this lecture of ISO and ISO standards, we have discussed a lot about ISO, the principles, the standard development, and the benefits of ISO. Now, coming to the assignments, I think after all this long, healthy discussion, you can answer these questions very easily. So, the question number one is, describe the role of ISO in the modern world. You have to tell me that what is the role of ISO, the International Organization for Standardization, in the modern world. Is it playing any difference in the modern world, or you think that it's okay if it does not exist, chalega kam? So you have to answer me completely. Okay. Question number two is, give any three examples of ISO standards in action. I've discussed a few of them, so you can go through that slide and tell me easily that any three examples जो आपके ख्याल में important है, आपने मुझे वो बतानी है, and plus you have to give me the reason that why these are important in your opinion, right? So this is the important point of this question. Question 3 is, what are the benefits of being full member of ISO committee? ये भी I have discussed in detail. So what you can do is you can go through the lecture and you can answer this question very easily and nicely. Question number 4. What is the name of the national body which is the member of ISO? I'm talking about the national body in Pakistan, right? So what you have to do is the important point about this question is that I haven't given the name of the national body in the Pakistan, but I have told you the website where you can go and you can check the national bodies for different countries. So what you can do is you can go through that website and you can take out the name of the national body in Pakistan who's the member of ISO, and you will tell me the name, right? So this is something which you have to do it yourself. Okay, all the best for your assignments and stay safe. Assalamu alaikum. For the preparation of ISO and ISO standard, this lecture, I have used the knowledge given by ISO on its website.